My name is Benjamin Penta. I own the Ruckus farm and sawmill out of East Kingston, New Hampshire. I just brought some wide live edge pine at 1-inch cuts for the boat builders here to bend or dry and to make boats out of. And yes, I'm a custom sawmill out of East Kingston. The sawmill I have is a Wood-Mizer LT50 wide. It's a good sawmill. It does what I need it to do. It does custom jobs like this, which is great. I do a lot of hardwood jobs for people, do a lot of pine, timber frames and stuff like that. Yeah, and it's a nice little machine. Cutting wood for the boat shop out of this tree. It was on the ground, and I have a few log guys that will reach out to me if they find something interesting. So this was originally a 28-foot pine that was clear, so we're looking for clear wood with smaller knots, and that doesn't happen very often with that big of a tree. So they basically gave me a call, and I gave the boat shop a call. I said, do you want the tree? And I said, okay. So I brought the trailer by, picked up the tree, and then off to cutting. And cutting for the boat shop is interesting just because you do want cleaner cuts. So I mean, my mill has a debarker on it, and I try to avoid it when I'm doing this, which dulls the blades a little bit more, but it creates better cuts when you're not using it, creates less vibration, all that stuff, that fun stuff, which you learn when you're running a sawmill. It's mostly pine from these tree guys. I love to get the gnarly trees, the big oaks, the big red oaks. Locust is harder to come by. I've been chasing a few locust trees for the boat builders for quite some time now. Usually they're rotted out in the middle or something like that, so you think you have a nice tree and then you don't. But I do a good amount of oak. I do a lot of oak trailer decking for excavation guys and stuff, and I actually have started to think about a little bit of getting into the hardwood lumber market for dimensional. I've been in talks with another lumber guy who's actually up in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and he has the kiln, so we've talked about some sort of partnership in time. So that would be cool, because the idea is almost like local farming, which I used to be in, is to bring wood back to where you know it was from. That's the idea with when I mobile mill, is if you take a tree down on your property, turn it into something for yourself that has value and you can pass it down, as opposed to just sending it out to firewood or having it chipped. And that's what's one of the cool things about this is you get those cuts, and I'm probably 15 miles away from here, and you get those cuts, and I can bring them here, and I can tell you exactly where the tree came from. So, which this tree was Newton, New Hampshire, over at the park. So if anybody asks, I mean, you built a boat out of a tree right down the road, and it's a cool concept to have, and you just know where it's from. So, which is very rare in the lumber market these days. If you have a big interesting tree that comes down, feel free to reach out. Hardest part with any trees is transport, which most of the time I can figure out. But yeah, the idea is basically bringing lumber back to where you know it was from. So, which is a cool concept. And also the idea of trees and having this kind of symbiotic relationship with them. I used to be a scientist before this, and it's cool when you can learn about the trees and know where they're from and know the history of them. You can look at the growth rings and realize, you can almost pinpoint what years were good years and bad years and in history, especially around here when you have so many big trees.